Hello, and welcome to another lesson from Level Up Mathematics. In today's lesson, we will be exploring reflections in the coordinate plane. But first, let's review our definition. A reflection flips a figure over a line of reflection in order to create a mirror image. Each reflected point of the figure will be the same distance from the line of reflection, but on the opposite side. So in example 1, it says, in each of the following, determine the line of reflection. So in problem A, we have triangle ABC, and it's been flipped over this line here, which is said to be our x-axis. Now, what I want you to notice on an x-axis reflection is look at point A. Notice it's 1 point above the x-axis. So point A prime is 1 point below the x-axis. So same distance, but one's above, one's below. Same thing for point B. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 above. So B prime is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 below. Same distance, opposite sides of the line of reflection. All right, problem B, we have triangle ABC, and it's been flipped over this line. This line is called our y-axis. So all of our points will be the same distance but opposite sides. So for example, point A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left of the y-axis. So A prime is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. So opposite sides of the line of reflection. Now pause the video and try to determine the line of reflection for problems C and D. When you're ready to check your answer, press play. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you said the line of reflection for C was the y-axis. So they were flipped over this line. And for problem D, the x-axis. The shape was reflected over the x-axis. All right. Example 2. Use the images below to answer the questions. So in in figure 1, we have triangle ABC and triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. In figure 2, we have triangle XYZ and triangle X prime, Y prime, Z prime. And in part A, we're going to record the vertices of the pre-image and the image in the tables. So for figure 1, let's talk about A, B, and C, and then we'll identify A prime, B prime, and C prime. So point A, if we start at 0, 0, we would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left, so negative 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. So negative 5, 5. Point B also goes 5 to the left, but it only goes up 1. So negative 5, 1. C goes left 1 and up 1. All right, now let's get the coordinates of point A prime. So A prime goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right. So that would be positive 5. And up 5. Point B also goes to the right 5, but only up 1. Point C goes to the right 1 and up 1. All right. Now in figure 2, we're going to look at X, Y, and Z, and then X prime, Y prime, and Z prime. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video and identify these coordinates on your own. When you're ready to check your answer, press play. All right, welcome back. Let's see how you did. So for point X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 6, up 1, so negative 6, 1. Point Y, left 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so negative 4, 5. And point Z, left 2, 1, 2, and up 3. So negative 2, 3. All right, now let's look at x prime, y prime, and z prime. So x prime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right, up 1. So positive 6, 1. Y prime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So positive 4, positive 5. And z prime, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So 2, 3. Now, in both of these figures, figure 1 and figure 2, what was the line of reflection? So hopefully you can see that this triangle and these triangles were reflected across the y-axis. So our line of reflection was the y-axis. So in problem C, it says give a verbal description of how the reflection affected the x and y values. So let me get a highlighter here. Here's my x value, negative 5 to 5, negative 5 to 5, negative 1 to positive 1, negative 6 to positive 6, negative 4 to positive 4, negative 2 to positive 2. So for the x values, it changed to the opposite. And the y values, let's see what happened to the y values. 5, 5, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 5, 3, 3. So it looks like the y values stayed the same. Now, to describe our reflection algebraically, draw big parentheses, and let's talk about what happened to x. X changed to the opposite, and the way we write that algebraically is opposite of x. Now, I know you're used to reading that as negative x, but in this case, the negative symbol stands for opposite. So this is the opposite of x, and the y stayed the same, so we just leave it as positive y. Now, list of each of the following changed or stayed the same. So the size of the figures stayed the same. Now, the orientation changed because on this triangle, our hypotenuse is on the right side, but in our image, the hypotenuse is on the left side. So the orientation changed. And notice our vertices change. So if I start with A and go in a clockwise direction, it would go A, C, B. If I started on A over here and went in a clockwise direction, it'd be A, B, C. So the orientation also changed. All right, so in this example was a reflection of what happens when the shape is reflected across the y-axis. All right, let's look at what happens when it's reflected across the x-axis. So in example 3, it says use the images below to answer the questions. In figure 1, we have triangle ABC, and then A prime, B prime, C prime, and then XYZ and X prime, Y prime, Z prime. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to record the vertices of our pre-image and our image. So our image was A, B, C. Our image would be A prime, B prime, C prime. On figure 2, X, Y, Z. And then X prime, Y prime, and Z prime. All right, let's start with figure 1 though. So point A is right here. So from 0, 0, I'm going right 1, up 1. So 1, 1, positive 1, positive 1. B, I'm going right 1, 2, 3, 4, right 5. So that's positive 5. And I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, 5. All right, point C, I'm also going right 5, but I'm only going up 1. All right, now A prime, I'm going to the right 1 and down 1. B prime, I'm going to the right 5, so positive 5, but I'm going down 5. And C prime, I am going to the right 5 and down 1. Now, please pause the video and try figure 2 on your own. When you're ready to check your answers, press play. All right, welcome back. So on point X, I had -3, 1. On point Y, I had 1, 6. And on Z, I had 2, or excuse me, point Z, 1, 2. 1, 2. So X prime, I had -3, -1, and then 1, -6, and then 1, -2. Now, for the reflection line for both of these figures, it was in both figures the x-axis. So I want you to notice what stayed the same when we reflected over the x-axis. Do you see how the x values stayed the same when we reflect over the x-axis? Very interesting. So when we had reflected across the x-axis, the x values stayed the same, and the y values changed to opposite. The y values all changed to the opposite. So the way we write that reflection rule algebraically, if the x stayed the same, you just write a plain old x. If the y changed to the opposite, you write opposite y. Remember, that does not mean negative y. It means opposite y. So the size stayed the same. The orientation changed. Oh, and this should say, I believe it should say, yeah, oh, no, excuse me, I don't know why I marked that out. Orientation of the vertices also changed. Okay. Now, the very last thing we're going to practice in example 4 and 5 is how to draw a reflection. So, before we draw a reflection, in example 4, they want us to reflect it across the x-axis. So I'm going to darken in the x-axis here. There's my x-axis. The other thing I'm going to do to make this problem a little easier is I'm going to label the vertices. I'll label it starting here, A, B, C, and D. It'll just help us keep, let me put little points there. It'll help us keep them a little bit straight. Now, when we reflect across the x-axis, each new point is going to be the same distance from the x-axis. So let me put our new points in red. So notice how point A is 2 units below the x-axis. So A prime must be 2 units above A prime. All right, now B is interesting. Notice it is originally 1 unit above the x-axis. So B prime must be 1 unit below the x-axis. All right. C prime is 1 unit below, so C prime must be 1 unit above. And then D prime, so D was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 below. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 above. Let me label that. Now I'm going to connect these, try to do this as straight as possible. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So there's our reflection across the x-axis. Now, in example 5, we're going to reflect across the y-axis. And to get this problem started, I'm going to label it x. Let's see. No, let's not use x and y. Let's use A, B, C, D again. Let's see. A, B, C, and D. So there is our pre-image. And I want you to reflect each point across the y-axis. Pause the video and try it on your own. When you're done and you want to check your answer, press play. All right, welcome back. Let's see how you did. So I'm going to reflect each point across the y-axis. So I'll start with point A. It's 1 unit to the right, so A prime must be 1 unit to the left. Point B is 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right, so it must be 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left. Point D is 1 unit to the right, so it must be 1 unit to the left. And point C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left. That's C prime. So let me connect these straight as possible here. So there's our reflection across the across the y-axis. And that concludes today's lesson, Reflections in the Coordinate Plane.